Hey, one of the things that I like about this new channel, number one, is nice and peaceful and relaxing. But it seems to be that when I fire up and say I want to go live on the new channel, it lets me go live. There's not a lot of hesitation. There's not a lot of delay. It just lets me do what I want. And so it just makes me wonder on, you know, who on a lot of the greater messages that I have conveyed throughout these years, who have I offended? Uh, a little channel like myself, when you're talking about channels that are just above 5,000 subscribers, I mean, in the overall make of things, that's a small channel. Um, you know, but the message had to have smacked somebody over the head for a lot of the analytics to keep being played with. And it's very interesting on how this all plays out. Now, I'll keep monitoring it and checking it out to see, you know. But I want to start out by saying Hawa, saying that last night, Hiram Art caught me off guard because I was in the process of getting little man to sleep, and Seneca was being very, very cranky. The baby girl, she was being very cranky, and the mother, my wife, she was not feeling the best. She's just entered into the third trimester, and she wasn't having it yesterday, just not feeling good at all. So needless to say, I had to, work, come home, do a lot of stuff, try to help out, and then try to get all these kids situated, get things going. And as I was dozing, I happened to see, I don't know if I heard a alert or what, but Higher Mart was going in, and I got to get in there for a few. But if y'all know my little ones, they demand attention, and so I couldn't watch the whole show, but I will be recapping that, Hiram. That 432 frequency just seems to draw. It's what needs to be. It's some good stuff. You're putting out that information for a reason, and it's on a higher level, and I appreciate that. So yeah, keep coming with these drops, keep dropping it over their head. Thawada, I appreciate this. I think we all do. So I want to get into, when we talk about stories, and I've been around a little bit, and one of the things, and like I said, right now no one's paying attention anyway because I've transitioned to a new channel, and it's going to take a while. It really, like I said, the message will come out when it needs to. But one of the things that I've noticed is that you can't change everything in a day. You can't even change it in a week. You can't change it in a month, and you cannot change it in a year. You may be able to effectuate little sparks of events that will happen. Little chain of events that you can do to push, to help, to get, to ignite, but it's going to take its time. For example, me wanting, me urging unity, me wanting to see the fulfillment of wholeness, to actually see it, feel it, taste it, live it, and actually learn and be a part is different than it actually being there. You can put all the effort in there, but you still got a lot. You still got have a lot of patience to see it through. And one of the things that I like to do is tell things through the lens, so to speak, of my eyes of what I've seen in 52 years. And one of the things that I'd like to say is that the journey that I've had as far as working, many of you know I went from the Air Force when I was very, very young, did my time, got an honorable discharge, moved on. And from that point on, I got hooked into the gas line and chemical industry. So we're talking right now, we are looking at, this is my 30, as of January, so next month, it'll be my 35th year. Now, I'm saying this is because it's been a journey of many, 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 many different ups and downs. Many. You know, I can look back at the career and notice that at times I would be in a position of, I'm trying to remember. You're going to have to, you know what, we're going to have to talk about that. I'm going to give you my email, IONTRUTH8@gmail.com, because I want to, I'm like, for some reason, I don't know if it was on the other channel, if it's on this channel. I'm transitioning over here, so I'm not quite sure, but definitely, give me some more information in the email so that way I can figure out what's going on. But I appreciate that, brother. Okay, so what I've been experiencing is that it doesn't matter what position you hold within corporation, company, business, whatever you got. There's always going to be dynamics, right? There's always going to be some things. Okay. I'll say it again too, just in case. IONTRUTH8@gmail.com, and then I will post it afterwards because I'm on this mobile thing here, but I will. And so with the dynamics, I've noticed that when I was in a position of, we'll say in the field of the gas line industry, when I was in a position of just straight security of it, there's a certain thing that goes on there. You run into a lot of different people. You see a lot of different situations. I can remember being a technician. I can remember being in operations. I can remember being flown all over to, I think, I'm trying to think, Cowtown. I believe it's in New Jersey or somewhere in that area, but Delaware, for 2.5 months, being flown back and forth to learn one company falling and another company coming up, and learning the business, learning the new trade, within the business itself. I can remember so many things and wearing so many different hats throughout these years. But one of the things that I notice is that as you climb up, so to speak, or you make lateral moves, or you climb up, and you think that you're now not going to be a part of any kind of colorism or any kind of, problems, right? You think that you're above that. You think that not just yourself, but you should, you have people that are underneath you, and so you want to make sure that everything is fair underneath you, and you know how it goes. But you also start to see that there's still these problems that you run into. Different people, different cliques of people. Usually what I've found is that it's cliques of people that you'll run into that just don't like you. No matter what your record is, no matter what your performance is, if they happen to be in a little bit higher role or just have a little bit more influence somehow in a clique, then they can start to mess with your overall well-being within a company. And I ran into this situation a few times, but recently I ran into this situation out of a Grand Rapids office. Now you have to remember that we go worldwide, but more specifically, this is when we're dealing with the greater Michigan area. It's a very, very, very large company, but yet there's going to be different hubs that you work through. So when you work at a different hub, you have to deal with different people, but that hub has a leadership program within that hub, but they still have to answer to the greater hub, if you understand what I'm saying. So when I go to these different hubs, when I went to one in particular that's in Grand Rapids, I ran into a clique, and all of them were younger than me. All of them seemed to, just from the beginning, they just didn't care. They didn't care for me, my energy. They didn't care for it. And it was felt, it was known, it was shown. The way that happened. You have to get to the whole dynamics. At the particular time, I had between 175 and 225, it depends on, employees that would report to me. Now, you have to understand that being in a position like this, normally you have people underneath you that you could get a hold of to help you to manage the business. So in other words, the boss doesn't need to sit there and have to micromanage everything. There should be someone else. It's called delegate. You be able to delegate problems to someone else. So I should be able to go to another chief, and the chief say, hey, this chief here, let's get this done. Well, what they did was, in this particular instance, they cut off any kind of chiefs that were underneath me. So in other words, I was the only focal point. You see how this is going? So what would happen is that I would work and then I would work. Do you get what I'm saying? I would work and then I would work when I'm driving home. I would work when I'm getting ready to try to feed the children. I would work while I'm cooking. I would work while I want to get ready to read a book. I would work as I'm trying to sing some lullabies to my child. I would work as I'm going to sleep. And as I'm asleep, I would work. And this happened for about, we're going to say close to about a 3-month time period. Whereas that me being 52, I wasn't getting any sleep. Work was the consuming everything. And that's talking about even from the calls that would go through the command center, that would go through different places, they would always bounce to me because this clique designed it that way so that it would irritate me, so that basically they could get under my skin. And I seen what was going on in this particular hub. Now it got to a point where I would lay back and watch this. And now remember, y'all know me. There's times where I will straight up attack. And when I attack hard. I mean, usually those that know me from back in the day, those that know me from my other channel, if I'm on you, I'm that wild Indian guy. I'm the one that I don't ever let up. But I've learned other, what you would say, tactics. I've learned other skills. I listen to some feminine energies as well that tell me just chill, just relax, let it play out, see what happens. And I've learned to do that. So as this was going on, I started to learn and do a different technique. And what happened is that it played out beautifully, because as one of the last straws that happened was I got a phone call, mind you, that this was a hub worker for a greater company. And this person was a senior ops manager that probably had 2 years 2 years experience in this position. Senior ops manager for hub of the greater company of what I'm part of. This person calls me up. I just did a shift, regular shift, till 3. I literally got home about, running here and there. I think, anyway, by the time I got home, it was about 4:15. I am making some pre-dinner stuff, and I get a phone call. Now, I saw what the number was, but I didn't know who it was. And all of a sudden, I start hearing, "Hey, we got a particular call off in such and such region. Who do you got?" And now I'm sitting here right at this point flipping a turkey burger. And I said, "Huh? We have a call off in such and such, and we need to have somebody by 5:30. Who do you got?" Just like that. Now again, I'm sitting here seasoning, and I'm, doing my thing, and what? Who are you? And I'm the senior ops manager, such and such, and I want to know who. I said, hold it up here. You don't call me and talk to me like this. You talk to, and my brother knows about this. I told him this whole dynamics. You on lunch? All right. Yeah, come back, because this is a good story. A lot of people aren't, the transition of the channel, I get it. It's all good, bro. I know that you'll see. But I'm like, wait a minute here. You're not talking to me that way. Do you understand who you're talking to? What's going on here? Now as I'm registering what they're talking about, what this particular person was talking about, I'm like, I'll see about who I can get to fill this position. But as I'm doing that, let me explain, and we kind of put some of these words. Let me explain to you something real quick. When I'm done filling this position, you can best believe that you will be getting a call back. And it won't be just me that's going to be calling you back. Okay? So, person hung the phone up. Position got filled within 30 seconds. 30 seconds it took me. Something that this person could have done probably would have took this person maybe a couple minutes. Took me 30 seconds. No big deal. Had to have somebody sent over to a certain part of Michigan by 5:30. They were there by 5:15. No problems. No problems. Now remember, I said me and that person are going to have a conversation. It ain't going to be just me, because what the person failed to realize is that I'm a representative to the greater corporation, not just no hub. I done been through the hubs. I done that. And just because you think that your title says something that gives you some kind of authority where you at, doesn't mean that you have authority over the president of the United States. I'm just saying, right? You get my analogy here. So I made sure to take care of what I had to do, and then I went to my little office space. Y'all see my little space just for me, even though the children go in there too. And I started making the calls. All right, so the way it worked is this. I was, listen, and this was the funny thing. Of course, the hub was furious that I talked to this particular person that way. So they were already making calls to the grader. And then the grader was listening, as now I'm making calls to the bigger. So now we're at a point on who we're going to listen to. So the hub says, we got to get rid of this guy. Me. We don't like him. He was, what was the word? Insubordinate to our senior ops manager. And then they explained what went down. And so everybody was just listening and listening. We were sitting here waiting. And next thing you know, the main person, who would be what you would call the CEO, gets on the conference call and says basically not much at all, because they're listening. He's listening. And he says this: it is up to Mr. Johnson on what he wants to do, because the greater client loves his work. They love his work from the beginning all the way till now. So if there's a problem with the hub, then we're going to fix the hub. And so the ball was back in my court. Why did it all start to begin with? We know it's because it's different. They didn't like me because I didn't fit in with their clique. They didn't like me because I didn't look like them. There's going to be instances like that, family. They didn't like me because of the way I look. Simple as that. They didn't like it. But the greater message is that since the ball was back in my court, then I had a decision to make. And I talked to my brother about this situation, and I talked to everybody about it. And we came to a greater, look, the greater hub wanted me fired. Completely out of the major hub. They wanted me gone. Point blank, period. I told my brother, I said, they are gunning to fire me. There's no doubt about it. They are trying to fire me, eliminate me, period. I mean, all barrels loaded. All I was doing is I told my bro, I'm like, it's getting ready to go down probably by a certain time. And it did. It happened around this time I told him. I just sat back and I was amazed at it. I'm like looking at it. I'm predicting what it's going to go down. And I said, well, I knew the phone call was coming, the second wave. And I said, well, what I would like to do is this. I don't want to do any kind of connection with the hub out of Grand Rapids. You can cut all affiliations with what you would call Region 6. I don't want to be a part of Region 16. And with that being said, since I'm no longer a part of Region 6, now I don't want to be a part of Region 5 as well. Now remember, this is how much of a responsibility I have. So therefore, I have officially resigned in the capacity of regional director of Region 5 and 6, of Sections 5 and 6 in all of Michigan. I don't have to tell you how big of a territory it is. It's just a big territory. Guess what? Did I lose anything from that? Nope. What happened was that all that happened is I was positioned into a greater hub that's only 2 minutes from where I live. And the only overseeing I do, besides the networking of it, is here. So, fire me? No. Hurt me? No. Discredit me? No. Didn't happen. It did not happen. Take away all my earned, all of my vacation, all of my everything that I put in, did not happen. Now, I told the certain bosses, I said, listen, I know what you did, and all I can say is that good luck in this particular hub, because you're going to really need it, because all the experience that I have and that I've laid my blood, sweat, and tears to is all dissipating in front of your eyes. And do you realize, people, that I've made so many friends in this industry that it may not affect you today, but it's going to affect you soon? Well, you know how it is. We'll see about that. Well, as we speak, out of all the sections that's going on in the state of Michigan, guess what section is hurting the most? Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids. Now, when I made the move that I made, I was very happy. You know, it gave me a peace of mind. It put the ball back in my court where I want it to be in the first place. I'm not mad. I'm not mad, baby. I'm not mad. You know, I'm not mad. What I gotta be mad about? I'm in a good position. You're not messing with my flow. I'm still representing the greater hub that I want to represent in the first place. And now I'm sitting here watching the disintegration of some little smaller hub that wanted to play with the bear. Now, mind you, all of this happened because of the fact that I look a certain way. So, again, I know the struggles. I know the problems. I've been there, done that. Wear it proudly. But what can we do to change this overall dynamics? Each of us can start effectuating this negative energy that's coming at us. We're smarter than that. You use your common sense, and you use that noggin that you have, and you figure out plans. One of the things I learned is this: that once you get a position, within a company, learn it the best. Doesn't matter if it's your own company, if it's your own business, that's better. But here's the thing I learned is that when you learn a job, learn it the best that you can. So that means when you first get that job, know all of it in and out, backwards, sideways, and don't care. That's exactly what I learned. I learned this from my big homie, Rest in peace, Glidell. I learned to do just that. Learn that when I get a job, I'm learning the in and out. The reason why is because once you learn that job in and out, somebody got to ask you when something's going wrong. I would get to a point like if it's inside the chemical area, I could tell if a pump was going wrong by the sounds it makes. If an actuator is getting ready to fail because of what's going on with the pressures. Just by observing, just by hearing, I can figure stuff out that way. That ain't no superpower. All it is being aware of your job and doing that motherfucker as best as you can. And trust and believe me, the more knowledge you got, the more info you have, intelligence, whatever you want to call it, about what you do, the more power you hold, no matter what your position is. And I don't care if it's first on the line. If you on that line, the bottom on the line, and you know your shit, you can't be stopped because they're going to need you one day. Auburn Hills lit up. Auburn Hills lit up. We talk about major explosion. Go back and look, 2015, 2016. Go back and look. Why? Why? Because of safety failing to do what? Actuator changes. That happened to be something that I talked about for a long time, but people wanted to pass the buck. Didn't want to get it changed. You see. So learn that job, learn it well, do what you got to do. And you know what? Eventually, they have to get to the point where they can't look at you as, oh, well, he another black person. That black person, he's this way, right? They're going to call you different name. Now that, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they think you is. Just like this little group here, they wanted to attack me because I didn't look exactly like them. But it backfired in the face, right? See, I'm about unity. But I do know that we still are in disharmony. And we got a lot of problems that we got to deal with now. We got to fix a lot of problems now. So before we can look at a utopia, we got to fix these problems now. Everybody wants wholeness and oneness, but it's still fractured. We still got to mend these wounds. Medic, doctor, we need that now. We got to heal. It's a lot to do. So, eventually this will all make sense. Eventually. We'll get it. But in the meantime, what y'all do is continue to do what you do well. And then one thing I can tell you is this. Melanated people, they have told you for so long that you are a dumb people. They have told you you are dumb, ignorant, lazy, no good for nothing, stealing people. That's the word of mouth, right? TV, television. Isn't that it? Good for nothing, thugs. Right? However, I will say this. That's what they say, but here's what I say. Give me some brothers and sisters that's knowing what to do, that's willing to do the job, eyes is open, Just ready? Give me one of you and miracles start to happen. See, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. Under pressure, under fire, we've been in that since, well, how long now? 200 some years, maybe more if you want to go further and further. We've been under fire, under pressure. Prisoner of war, we've been through this. So when the so-called shit hits the fan, who you think's got the who can stand up to this? We can. Under pressure, under fire, we can. Under pressure. So, for all the corporate America that thinks that you need to look a certain way, or you gotta rep a certain vibe, or an old degree that really doesn't pertain to anything, because let me tell you, it's okay to have schooling, but the on-the-job training experience of some of us old timers that's been around a while, we'll run circles around that textbook every damn time. Let me explain this to you. If the shit hits the fan and it's an emergency situation, they don't go to the textbook, goddamn. They come to the veterans. The ones that's been there, that's seen it, that ain't gonna fucking panic, and it's gonna lay this fucking and straighten this job out. That's what's gonna happen. And guess what? I'm gonna sit there with a Mountain Dew or a cup of coffee, and I'm gonna be like the maestro. I'm gonna rock this shit. Because why? It ain't nothing but a thing for me. Why? We used to this. We built for this. Sorry. So get it out your head that because people look a certain way that they dumb, lazy, so on and so forth. Fuck all that. Start changing that perspective, because live your life, do your thing the way you do. They love the way your swag is. They love the way you talk. They love your style. They love the way that you pick up stuff, the way that you can do a job and turn it into something else. Oh, trust and believe me. There could be a warehouse operation that's been in place for 30 years, and some quote unquote thug comes into the warehouse, and next thing you know, the radio playing, and he done dropped down a job that took them 4 hours, and now the job done took an hour and a half because he changed the whole dynamics of the whole environment. And at first they couldn't stand it, because why is that radio playing right now? Why is Lil Wayne playing in my warehouse? But next thing you know, productivity has gone through the roof. Why? Because y'all let one of us up in here. I'm just saying, it is what it is. You can accept the terms and conditions that's being set forward, right, about you, of you, and you can keep letting history keep writing this shit, or you can start to change the whole dynamics of this. Because the way I look at it is, there's a lot of beautiful minds, a lot of beautiful innovation that's right there within all of us. You just got to tap into it and free ball it. So, that's what I have to say about this situation. Don't down yourself because that's what you see on the news. Don't down yourself because that's what the perception is of you. Change the perception of the people. Change the perception of the outlook of you. When you walk out the house, change it up. Start stepping. Walk the way you walk, because they will copy you. Wear that style that you got, because they'll copy you. Listen to that music, because they will listen to it. Now, if you can change all that within that, What I'm just saying, that's just scratching the surface. That's just scratching the surface. If you can change all that, you tell me what the fuck really going on. It's give and take, and they need you. Hello? They need you. If you get to the greater realization that they need you, then why don't you start understanding that if they need you, then what? Aren't you in a position of power? And if you're in a position of power, what you gonna do about it? Now you're in a position of getting your own team and doing your own thing with your own swing. I'm just saying, visualize, do it. That's all there's to it. So, listen, my message is all about unity and wholeness, but let me say that we got a long way to go. We got to get through some barriers. We have some lessons to teach some people about ourselves. Let's introduce ourselves again. Let's try this again. My name is the motherfucking man. That's what my name is. You gonna put some respect on my name. Why? Because I fucking earned it. That's why. I didn't get this from laying in the goddamn bed all day. So you can't say I'm lazy. That I'm dumb? Nope. Because I got the knowledge. Ask me something. You ain't got ask. You can ask me in that book and I'll tell you. You see? Look, when you like something, what do? If you like a video game, you the best in the video game, ain't you? Start switching that around. Start learning things that you normally don't like. And start doing it. Start putting some attention to it. Start putting that detail to it. And just watch how many people gravitate towards that. Watch how many innovations happen in that warehouse, in that facility, hub, wherever. All right. Well, I know it was a long one, but the message need to be spread out. And again, I don't care if it's on this small channel and only a little bit of people watch it. It's all good because it's still the message. It's still the message. Y'all know what the message is. All right. Sioux Wolf Clan out.